so many. So do you want the interview to be in English or French? Or
English is better.
English.
Parlez français petit.
Ah, petit. Ah, nice. C'est très
تكلم
bien.
عربية ولكن شوية.
Ah, c'est mignon en plus. C'est très mignon.
So English, inshallah.
Du coup, can you tell us about your experience here in Big Tech? How do you find it so far?
Yeah, definitely. So it's really been exciting to come back to Tunisia.
Yeah.
I remember the last time. So I was initially in Tunisia in 2019.
Okay.
All right, and the tech ecosystem looked very different from this.
Yeah.
The Startup Act was still in progress.
Yeah.
You know, again, you had. I came for the third demo day of Flat 6 Labs back then.
Yeah.
We're now coming back a couple of years later, particularly to attend the second edition of Big Tech Africa.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Right, yesterday I gave the keynote, opening keynote yesterday, and the reception by the audience, the engagement with founders, with investors, with one of our own backers, Air Smart Capital, it's been amazing. Even the government, been on the ground to support this program. It's been an amazing couple of days.
So you think there's an improvement in the startup ecosystem?
Definitely.
Right.
Again, you have to look at the very strategic positioning of the Tunisian ecosystem.
Yeah.
In terms of size, it's much smaller to the big four, Nigeria, Egypt, and co.
Yeah.
But where it really matters is, firstly, is in the geo positioning. Like I like to tell people, Tunisia is almost like a bridge between the Middle East, Europe and Africa, right?
Yeah.
Then you also look at the very strong technical depth that you have here. Every year, 10,000 engineers are produced in Tunisia, and they are multilingual. They speak English, they speak French, they speak Arabic. That is amazing, right? And then when you then look at the government support that's coming up, so again, that's been very helpful for the Tunisian ecosystem.
Yeah.
What's changed is previously when founders built here, they usually built just for Europe. But what we've seen right now is where they're also looking closely at the rest of Africa.
Yeah.
So we're now seeing founders who are building here and thinking of expanding beyond Tunisia to Sub-Saharan Africa, to North Africa.
Yeah.
So that's really quite exciting. And lastly for me is also the resilience and the ability of those founders to build with very little. Because unlike ecosystems like Nigeria, where you have a lot of capital is really limited here. And so you see founders build with very little and they last for a long time. That's really amazing.
Yeah, that's so good. So I know that you were here, you did a keynote, right? So that's so good because someone like you, with the knowledge that you have, you shared your experience as well. So my question is, you are here also as an investor, right?
Yes. So I think our role here is to act as a bridge between Tunisia and the rest of the continent.
Yeah.
Again, if you look historically at our firm, Lofty in Capital, we have always been pioneers. 12, 13 years ago, at the beginning of the ecosystem in Nigeria, we played a very key role. And then 2016, 2017, we started investing in Egypt at the very early stages. And then we began to be active in Francophone Africa, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire many years ago. And so with Tunisia, we're playing the same role. How do we connect investors elsewhere, experienced founders elsewhere to the ecosystem here? How do we also connect great talent here, founders here, to the rest of the ecosystem? And that's really the bridge that we're playing. Previously, we invested from our angel vehicle in a company here called Dapchi. Right? And we've also over time helped companies like Go My Code expand from here to Nigeria. So again, we've been quite active, but now with the backing of Smart Capital and other, we're even taking more activity on the ground, having people on the ground to really look in depth at founders who can back and invest in, but also being able to enable the ecosystem, stimulate the ecosystem, share our own experiences and knowledge to help the ecosystem grow. So again, we're here for good and we're really excited at the opportunity.
That's great. Actually, I have a personal and professional question. Why did you want to invest in the startups in Africa and not in Europe?
Okay, so great. So they call me the Afropreneur, which is a word I created over 15 years ago and I trademarked. And it's basically referring to African entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs with an African focus. When you look at demography, by 2015, over 40% of basically by 2015, 1 in 4 people in the world will be Africans. So that's an amazing statistic. And when you look at the fact that by 2030, 40% of the youth population in the world will be Africa.
Yeah.
So Africa has a huge role to play in shaping the future of the world. And so if we are neglecting the continent, then we're not serious. And if you look at the outsized availability of capital in Europe and elsewhere, so it's already there. I like to say that Africa is the most undercapitalized continent with high potential.
Yeah, with high potential, exactly.
If not us, then who?
Yeah.
If not now, then when?
Yeah.
And so there is no one coming to save us. Yeah. We have to save ourselves. And so for us, it's more than just financial returns. Like you said, could be in Europe investing and be making returns. But we have a duty to the continent, to the young people of the continent. And I used to live in the US, right? I went to school in the US, went to school in the UK, went to Oxford. Yeah. So I've dealt with people elsewhere. And one thing I realized is that talent is universal. Yeah. Anywhere you go, from Tunis to Cairo, talent is there. Yeah. What is not universal, what is not available everywhere is opportunity. Yeah. And our role, by value of the privilege we have had, is to connect that talent to opportunity. That is our job.
Yeah. Now talking about the talent, the Tunisian, how smart they are, how they talk a lot of language, I want to ask another question about how do you see maybe investment and the startup ecosystem maybe in another 5 years? Because you came before in 2019.
So I think one of the things about being an investor, especially on the continent, is being resilient, being optimistic. There are always going to be challenges. There are going to be challenges of infrastructure, of enabling environment, of politics, of policy, of regulators, of even people migrating and living, right? But if you look at it in the long run, again, there are problems here that need to be solved, and in solving those problems, you also ensure financial returns. And I just came back from the Vatican in Rome, and when you look at the Vatican and look at the buildings, you see buildings that have been built for over hundreds of years. And so my view is you always have to take the long run. Think of in the long run. Think in centuries, not in days, not in weeks. And when you think of that, even 5 years is a short period. And so I think we're very bullish that in the short run, in the midterm, things may be slow. It may take a while for these things to bear fruit. But in the long run, we're doing the right thing for our communities. We're doing the right thing for our investors. We're doing the right thing for the continent by investing in our people. I think people over-focus on minerals, on lithium, on all of these extractive minerals as being Africa's assets. The best assets we have on this continent are our youth, our people, and we have to invest in them, and that is our own commitment, and that's why we're doing this.
I really like your point of view and the way that you think, the way actually how you see Africa and African continent. That's really rare for investors to look at Africa, because we're always like seen in like a bad way.
Exactly. And so I think it was Chinua Achebe, the Nigerian author of Things Fall Apart, a celebrated author, who said, until the lion learns to write, the story will always be written by the hunters and to tell their own view. There are enough people who are telling Africa's sad stories. It is not our own job to do that for them. Our own job is to amplify Africa's good stories.
Exactly.
And there are good stories on the continent. There are amazing successes on the continent, and our job is to tell those good stories, not to amplify the bad stories.
Exactly. I totally agree. That's really good. So, did you talk with some entrepreneurs here and startups?
Definitely, yes. So
how did you find them? What advice you would say to them?
Part of us being here is not just to attend the conference, but to actually engage with the ecosystem, from DOT to all the exactly all the different players in the ecosystem. So we spent a week, attending the conference, meeting with founders,
so
meeting
in
with
this
investors.
Week you went to the DOT.
Yeah, so we're going around exactly.
Great.
Yeah, because again, I think for us it's about really feeling the pulse of the ecosystem. So I come from Lagos, and again, when you land at Lagos Airport, you feel the real Lagos. You go around, you feel the pulse of the ecosystem. So when we come in here, conferences are great, but you want to meet with the founders where they are. So we've been to places like Flusi, right? We met with the office, we met with the users, and we're meeting with what now, right? We met with Wasalni. Exactly. So we're really engaging with the ecosystem, the users, the people, and feeling a pulse for it. Also engaging with even the regulators themselves, understanding their challenges, where they need help, meeting with other co-investors, local VCs, because we're very big. Especially when we go to another ecosystem, on partnering.
Yeah.
It's very important to appreciate local expertise.
Yeah.
And so being able to find local partners that understand the ecosystem that you can engage with is very important to us.
Yeah.
And so this week, that's part of what we're doing in really learning the ecosystem, mapping out the ecosystem, and seeing where do we add value and how do we also learn from people who are in the ecosystem.
That's super interesting. We thank you for what you're doing, really.
Thank you.
So one last question. What advice would you tell to your younger self? You. It's personal a little bit, but professional at the same time.
I'm still young, so exactly. So
no, to younger
to my much younger self.
than that,
Exactly.
yeah.
Again, it's about Idriss, you're on the right path. There will be obstacles, but you need to persist and keep going. You need to go along with others, right? Work in a team, because like an African proverb says, if you want to go fast, you go alone.
Yeah.
If you want to go far, you go with others.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the key thing. It's about partnership. It's about exploring. It's about the fact that you always have to be doing. Well, even when you are scared, or even when you are afraid.
Yeah.
One of my mentors will say, if your dream does not scare you, it's not big enough.
Yeah.
So we have to be ready to dream big, scary dreams. We have to be ready to do it afraid.
Yeah.
And that's really the stuff. Again, we're in Tunisia. We're going to succeed, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
It
much.
was so
Appreciate
great
it.
to talk with you. And I hope we see you again other events
Inshallah.
in Tunisia.
Yeah.
And thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
Shukran
you.
jazilan.
Shukran
Merci
jazilan.
beaucoup.
Thank you.
À demain.
À demain. Bye bye.
Bye bye.